Now having that will complicate it. Thankfully, because in the area you have schools, the Maricilia, so thankfully school is on holiday, and so we would have engaged the engineer, the contractual engineer, yesterday in a meeting to bring it to his attention as to the concern of the public and to the large extent the traffic department, and we are soliciting the cooperation of this because we recognize it's an important project, and so at the same time we want to appeal to the residents living within the area for their cooperation and understanding while we continue to engage these truck drivers and the truck owners as to the relevant aspect of the law, that the trucks, they must be covered when they are carrying any kind of loose cargo that is likely to be thrown over, fall off. And one of the things that they do, they full it up above, so then that makes it more exposed. And then the speed. I have witnessed myself while traveling along Taylor's Range. One of these trucks was traveling along the road ahead of me, and you could have seen the dust like a whirlwind, and it just blowing, and the direction of the wind, the speed of the wind that tends to travel at a very long distance. And so it's something we are going to be strict on, and we are with a view to enforce. The other areas of the truck, apart from the licensing and the insurance, the tires, the maintenance of these vehicles. These are heavy equipment vehicles in terms of the tonnage, and they are supposed to ensure that they have the proper tires in terms of as required by the law. They are properly maintained, and they must have the adequate warning devices, as well as that includes like a proper tail light, the braking lights, the headlamp, and the different safeguards that
Number
the law
plate.
requires, number plate, registration plates, and so on. And so we want to really at this time use this medium to really notify and inform, and also put on notice the violators, the persons who might not have been aware of these infractions, that it is a time for you to really pay close attention to these infractions that we are pointing out. If you're a truck owner, please ensure that you are well conformed and in compliance with the Vehicles and Road Traffic Act as to it pertains to your motor vehicle. If you're a truck driver or a truck operator, then the same thing applies, because at the end of the day, the driver is the person, if found in breach of the offense, will be held accountable in terms of the tickets are taken to court.
Oh, so they will be ticketed?
They will be ticketed. And so we want to really, because part of policing is not always enforcement. You have to have that citizen buying, that citizenry cooperation. And if you are able to get cooperation and the large extent of it, then enforcement may not be necessary.
Some will argue and say that this has been an ongoing thing for many years. Why take the caution route now versus just going straight ahead and giving penalties?
Well, sometimes when there is a tendency of a lax in the law in terms of the enforcement aspects, and that people might see that the police have not focused on it, I think it is helpful to let the public know that the police has been monitoring, and where safety becomes an issue, then the police want to do the education and make sure that you're aware. And so then when we begin to enforce, the excuses or whatever possible justification will not be acceptable. So the police will then at that time will be less discretionate
Right.
in terms of the enforcement part of it, because you would have been given ample opportunity to make sure that everything is in order.
So we're in the grace period time, and how long will that last for?
No set period. The thing about it, GQ, is that we intend to have a meeting with as part of the ongoing education and soliciting the cooperation and so forth, in terms of, because everything we do, there is an aspect of community policing and community engagement that is really the thrust. And so that is why we don't really generally go strictly and immediately at enforcing. And so we intend to have a meeting with all of the truck owners, truck operators. It will be sometime, hopefully, either the last Wednesday of this week. The 31st of July at 6 p.m. The venue, I don't think the venue has
Police
been...
Training School.
Police Training School is the venue. So if you're listening, take note. And we will like to have as many truck owners, truck drivers, and even persons who are in the construction and the moving, the hauling, and you are included. And so you should have that peculiar interest to ensure that the information that is disseminated is really, you have the benefit of that. And so you yourself can take that civic responsibility, that personal responsibility, and ensure that everything is in order. If you do that, then it goes a very long way. It saves yourself the inconvenience and the different things, having to be, being found to be an inconvenience by being ticketed or whatever the case may be.
Right.
Yes.
What will be the cost of the ticket?
Well, those breaches are regulatory. They are breaches by regulation, the traffic regulations, and so the cost is generally $100. $100 is still $100, right? If it is like some section offenses that created within the act itself, might carry a stiffer fine.
Okay.
But because those are basically considered minor infraction, they carry a minimal fine of ticket penalty of $100.
A concern I've heard before, as it relates to trucks carrying big stones. If, for example, God forbid, a stone was to fall out of a truck, drop on a vehicle, what can that driver do to seek
And you could
compensation or recourse?
Right. That is a very important question. We hope and we pray that we never have such occurrence. And that is why we want to continue to educate and inform and, if possible, enforce in the strictest manner with regards to persons who found to be negligent in relation to those creating these kind of hazard that can be catastrophic in relation to injury or death.
Right.
And so, yes, if that happens, then first you will have the police would investigate. The driver can be charged based on the findings and in relation to the circumstances surrounding that, because the thing about it, you can be charged for dangerous driving, even though that you might, because you do not take all of the precaution, because you know that you're carrying boulders. And this in itself is dangerous because of the size, because of the weight. And so you as a driver should be cognizant of the fact that you are moving and traversing into traffic with things that can possibly be dangerous. And so if you do not do that with the strictest and the most careful attention to ensure that you minimize the possibility of any event, incident, then you can be charged up to as being reckless or driving dangerously.
Thank you for sharing that.
Yes.
Let's take this call. Good morning, you're live.
Hey, good morning. Good program. Darling, a little cold. Let's give you the remedy. But don't listen to Granny remedy. Anyway, Chuck, I'm happy you mentioned about Chuck. I remember when Old Bear was being done, right? And you're going to correct me. Is it the rule that if the bowlers are too big and the tailgate cannot go on, that they're supposed to be put a chain or two behind, so at least it can start of hold the bowler, keep the bowler in place. And I'm happy, Maguire, you experienced that dust in your face, because I've had that many times where I'm driving behind truck and the sand, just blowing back. And I'm not sure what is the rule govern that. If they're supposed to have, some truck have a kind of black canvas where it's supposed to be covered over the sand or the dust to prevent it from blowing back. Or I don't know if they are supposed to carry a certain amount of sand or dirt in the truck that will prevent it from blowing back. So maybe you could educate me and the public on that. Also, I don't want to hit the truckman them, but just like how we as Jeep and car drivers. So too, a truck driver supposed to be ticketed for tires that are what they call them onion, and we like the truck drivers them to sometimes pull over and allow the traffic to pass. Many times, in the morning you have truck and backhoe driving and you have a long line of traffic, and yes, they want to get to work on time, and I expect that. But if they can just pull over a little and allow the traffic, to continue and then continue on their journey, it will be very helpful. I'll continue. Good program, okay.
All right, thanks for your call, Bucky.
Darling.
Yes, thank you very much for your call, Mr. Bucky, and I would definitely get the remedy from Mr. GQ. However, in relation to what you would have spoken about with the dirt or the boulders in the vehicle, in the truck, there must always be this back portion of that truck that must be closed so that the boulders are safe in that particular truck. And they must also be covered. Some trucks do not have that back portion, and that is an issue because it should be a part of the truck. Because once that boulder gets out of the vehicle, like Mr. Maguire would have said earlier, dangerous driving, reckless driving could be a charge. With regard to the amount of garbage or the amount of dirt that one is asked to put inside of the truck, there is no limitation. What the owner or the driver of the truck must realize, they must know what the limit the truck can take, so that you don't have the blowing and the blowing of the garbage. The heap is too high, so you can't, you're not able to cover. And so you must know the limit, that there is no specification in the law onto the limit of what a truck is supposed to carry. What we are asking, though, what the law is stating, is that the garbage or the dirt or the stones, they must be covered. That is by law. Mr. Maguire would have mentioned also about the roadworthiness of the trucks. And I want to bring to the general public again, just to enforce what Mr. Maguire would have said before, number plates especially. Some truckers feel like because it's a truck and they're carrying garbage and they're carrying dirt, that they are not allowed to wear a number plate. A number plate must be assigned to the front and the back of the truck. Center front, center rear. And also bear in mind that the number plate must be visible. Some persons have their number plates all messy, all dirty, all cement, all dirt. And so, just like a normal car, a regular vehicle, your number plates must be clear so that persons can see just in the event that something happens. Also bear in mind too that the lighting, Mr. Maguire spoke about it, and some persons, the lights, and we are so grateful now that our policies and laws would have changed since October of 2024, where we now have to go to an inspection site for a vehicle to be inspected, where pictures are taken. It is only now we're seeing the amount of trucks, and because there are other vehicles, but because we're speaking to trucks, we will speak to trucks. There are so many trucks that doesn't have any rear light. There is no lighting at all on the back of the vehicle. And so we are saying to the general public now is it time for you? Mr. Jiki would have asked the question, why now as to before? And Mr. Maguire would have answered, which would have been what is happening. We were lacking. We were not enforcing. And so now we are doing the education part of it so that persons, whether you know or you don't know, we now educate you and we will enforce later. And he would have said there is no specific timing. We're just making sure that the general public gets the information when it comes to the truck. And one thing I want to speak to again before Mr. Maguire takes over is persons who are owners of trucks who are allowing their children, 17 years and 18 years old, to drive or operate a truck without the appropriate license. That is an offense. Bearing in mind, Mr. Maguire spoke about the ticket being $100. But also bear in mind that those persons who are negligent in paying those tickets, when they go to the magistrate court, the magistrate charges up to $1,000, $1,500. Mr. Maguire?
Before you jump in.
Yes, we have a call.
We did. You may continue.
Right. So, as Donnelly was speaking about the driving without the appropriate license, not only that persons who are under the age, not of the appropriate age, being permitted to drive these heavy equipment vehicles. Also, the reason why there is a classification of driver's license, because they go with the weight of the vehicle. Because with the weight of the vehicle and your ability or experience in maneuvering or operating these vehicles, it must be considered. So if you have, let's say, a P license, you cannot drive a truck with a P license. You must get the requisite driver's license for
Class C.
Right? Class C for that matter. And so it means, therefore, similarly to maybe a heavy equipment vehicle,
Class
then
E.
you have to get the appropriate license. And this is across the board, even with the passenger buses, the taxis and so on, because and each class it comes with a period of driving experience. You must have the requisite driving experience. You must be of the age, the appropriate age, and so these are all violations. And once we found anyone in breach of the law, they are going to be expected to be held accountable.
Sergeant Maguire, Officer Donnelly, we have to wrap up the program now.
Yes.
Yes.
Coming up next, we have our 9 o'clock report, Compliments
Right.
to Grange, right here on ZIZ Radio. Thanks for being here. Thanks for listening. And we'll catch you guys next week, same time, same place, to do it all over again.
Thanks you.
Thank you.
Thanks.